Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Flagship. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me Tuesday this week, as you heard, Ben Garrett and myself on Monday. He is here. Not quite sure what hat that is. I believe it's a baseball cap. It appears to be some kind of organization that has not won a World Series in quite some time, but Grayson. Morning, Grayson. How we doing?
Good morning. We're good. The Yankees are on a roll. For those who are listening and not watching, I'm supporting my team on for which I grew up a fan. So this is not a bandwagon thing. I was born and raised up north. I am a Yankees fan, true and true. I have seen them win, and I have seen all of the struggles in recent years as well.
Look, this is just the first, opening day weekend hype train jerk off Braves thing that I'm doing right now. Braves take 2 or 3 from the Phillies. Pretty dominating fashion too. 21 runs in the first 2 games to just dominate. So yeah, it was a good weekend for the Braves. Speaking of you growing up as a Yankees fan and being from up in the Northeast, we're going to get to that here in a moment. But as I do every episode, remind you the show powered by College Corner. 3 locations: Oxford, Flowood, and Ridgeland. They take care of us each and every day, each and every episode. They keep this studio looking nice and sounding and looking good. And they can take care of you as well. Go see them at those 3 locations or check them out, collegecornerstore.com. Get you some spring gear as the weather is really starting to buck its head in a very good way. Weekend was tremendous. Outside pretty much every day. It was outstanding. So if you need some new polos, some t-shirts, maybe a little lightweight hoodie, College Corner has you covered. All right, Grayson. Talk about the weekend being outstanding. It was also an outstanding weekend for college basketball. The Elite Eight was elite. It lived up to the hype. I thought, and I don't think this is a super hot take, but probably the best game was Purdue, Tennessee on Sunday.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Dalton Knecht, Zach Edey. I mean, just 2 superstars that completely dominated. And I think everybody watching got their money's worth, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little boring. It was just because it was such a rock fight. There was definitely it dragged on probably longer than it should have, just because this college game. I mean, I love the college game, don't get me wrong, but all the reviews and the fouls and the free throws and the gets exhausting. But that was a great game. I mean, four fun games. I mean, even the blowouts. UConn, it was enjoyable to watch them. Just like they're just a joy to watch because they're so good in every facet of the game. And then NC State blowing out Duke. Unless you're in Durham, I'm pretty sure everybody else was thrilled to see that go down. Watch the big fella go to work, and then Clemson, Alabama was a good game as
Yeah,
well.
that was a good game. Look, lest we forget, this now Final Four NC State team lost to Ole Miss by 20 points earlier
They
this year,
did.
which just further proves that sports are dumb. Yeah, good for DJ Burns, good for Kevin Keats, and 2 guys in the ACC that have just been on the quote hot seat pretty much every year. Him and Brad Brownell. Great years for those 2. But yeah, I think Zach Edey stole the show, and then dude, UConn looked like an AM1 mixtape tour at times on Saturday. It was silly. And that was a damn good Illinois team. I know it's tough when Terrence Shannons doesn't score much, but I don't think it would have mattered. He could have dropped 20 and Illinois still would have lost by 15, 20 points.
Yeah, and Brad Underwood, my goodness, famous last words. What did he say? We're gonna keep going at Klingon, and if he blocks 100 shots, he blocks 100 shots. And then all of a sudden, UConn went on a 30-0 run. Like that was pretty brutal for Underwood. I mean, even Larry David was in the front row, and he was yelling at Underwood, like, change your game plan, do anything else except for
Yeah.
stop attacking this 7-footer who's arguably the best, big in this upcoming draft class. Like, what was Illinois thinking? I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I don't think it would have mattered. I mean, UConn is just so good, and the
Um,
only one to me. I mean, it'll be fun to see this upcoming weekend. You know, Alabama's going to shoot 77 threes and try to beat them. So
can't wait.
that is possible. I mean, if Alabama just shoots the lights out, it is possible. I think it's unlikely. Um, but Klingon versus DJ Burns and or I guess just or Zach Edey in the final would be a
Yeah.
heck of a matchup.
I was telling people on Sunday, I had the privilege of watching the game with a bunch of Tennessee people. I was like, look, y'all, this is just these next couple are just a play-in game to see who gets waxed by UConn.
Feels that way.
I don't see how UConn loses, barring big time foul trouble, an injury, God forbid. But yeah, just complete domination. I mean, there was a point. I don't. His name is escapes me, but there was in transition, no look pass to a dunk, and UConn players are just laughing because they're like, we can't miss. Like we can do no
Mhm.
wrong, and like Illinois was just dejected, and it was like 50% dejection, and then 50% like, what do we do? Like we can't stop them. So, um, yeah, I mean, for you as a native of the Nutmeg State, it's big time for you.
Yeah, I grew
I,
up
I
going to those games. I can claim the Huskies.
yeah. When you claim the Huskies, do you claim Stores or Hartford? Which one?
I've been to more games in Hartford than I have in stores. So I
Okay.
guess I guess probably Hartford because
Okay.
I've been to more games. I went to the, no, what was that? I can't think of his name right now. Oh, Jawan Blair, Hashim Thabit was in Hartford back in, what was that,
God.
like 2000,
I was gonna,
two thousand
I was
eight or
gonna
something like
say
that.
I was having PTSD on Saturday when all my Grizzlies buddies are like, "Oh, dude, if the Grizzlies get clinging," and it's just like, dude, like, do you not remember last time the Grizzlies drafted a UConn big man?
Yeah, it did not
Uh,
work out well. But
it,
Thabit's game did not
two
translate
different
to the
players,
NBA. Yeah, Thabit is
two
more
different
of an
players.
Edie in terms of his play on the next level. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, UConn is so good. This team is awesome. I mean, their starting five
it's
will all be in the league next year.
it's the perfect team.
Hmm.
Like arguably, I'd have to go back and look in like recent years, but probably the most complete team since when? Like that Kentucky 20, what was that,
Yeah,
12?
yeah, that team was special.
The Eighth Wonders.
Yeah,
I mean, there's been some really good basketball teams. I mean, this team is built like this is truly a Bugatti going
just
up against a
top
bunch
to
of
bottom.
Corvettes. Like
Yeah,
you've got Klingon, who's a true sophomore lottery pick, and then they've got a bunch of sophomores that came back with him. You've got one true freshman that is like a role player, 6 man type. Um, I mean, they all buy in. They know their role. There's no beef. There's no ego. It's just a complete buy-in. Just a indictment on what Hurley's built there. And just last year, I remember Field of 68. Shout out to Jeff Goodman and the guys over there, friend of the program. They were talking about how like UConn is a legitimate dynasty and a legitimate like one of the Mount Rushmore programs in basketball now with what even before Hurley, what Jim Calhoun did.
yep.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize just how good of a program it is, and I don't think they're going anywhere. I mean, probably going to repeat first time since Florida did it 06, 07. Um,
We'll see.
but yeah, we'll see. On the other side, let's get into Zach Edey. I know that was a big topic on Sunday. It was a big topic where I was with all the Tennessee people. All right, here's my take, and then I'll let you go. This is a true, both things can be true scenario for me. The combination of Zach Edey being 7'4" and being skilled is just really tough to defend and to handle. Where it's one thing to just be really tall and like, sure, you get some boards, you block some shots, whatever, but like he is truly like he's athletic. I don't know how he will work in the NBA. That's a different world. You've got dudes like Wimbenyama that are running around like guards. You've got Jokic that's just a freak. I mean, maybe he works, maybe he doesn't, But in the college game, he's so big, he's strong, he angles and positioning, like he knows how to play the position. He's not just banging you and like clearing you out like a dude at the Y, where you call your own fouls. Like he
Yep.
actually plays basketball. This isn't just like brute ball, get out of the way. Like I mean, dude, he was doing some nasty stuff against, I mean, the up and under he had. He was going to the left. I mean, little baby hooks. Like Tennessee tried everything. And I think just his size and the attention he demands, he dictates the game because of how big and skilled he is. So yeah, maybe he gets a friendly whistle, but I think that's because he earns it because of how good he is. Um, sure, there were some hook and holds that probably didn't get called, but I think that's just like you have to bang him. You have to be physical. Tennessee did everything they could. To where I know people were whining about all the free throws, but I mean, that's just, in my opinion, that's a product of how good he is. And
Yep.
and also like the probability, Purdue gives him the ball every trip down, pretty much. Unless it's in transition, they are feeding the post every single half court set. So unless he's doubled or tripled and kicking it out, he's going to the basket. So he's either going to make it or you're going to foul him. So I that's going to be a topic of conversation on talk radio and podcast for the next couple days.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was fine. Tennessee played a hell of a game. I mean, look, if you're looking for an excuse, if you're Tennessee, somebody else had to score. Dalton Connect did everything he could. Nobody else
Mhm.
stepped up. So that's my take on it.
No, I think we're on a similar wavelength here. It's like you said at the top, both things can be true. Zach Edey's a foul merchant. Did every single starter on the floor yesterday get called for a foul in the first half except for Zach Edey? Yes. Like, did he pick up an exuberant number of fouls? Absolutely. Is he the first player to shoot 400 free throws or more in a single season since Pete Maravich in 1970? Yes. he is a free
Pistol.
he is a foul merchant. Like that there is absolutely an element of that the referees don't know how to officiate him because every single time he gets the ball, which like you
And
said is every single play, he's
yeah,
getting attacked.
well,
So
that's another. I'm glad you mentioned Pistol Pete because that's different type of demand on attention in the game
right,
because Pistol Pete was a volume shooter. So, like, he was getting fouled a lot because he shot a lot.
exactly.
He was really good. I mean, he averaged over 40 points a game. So, yeah, you're going to foul him so he doesn't score. So, yeah, different style. But, yeah, I'm
But
glad you
same
mentioned.
idea. Yeah, where
Yeah,
it's high volume, they're getting the ball on every play, and there's going to be a lot of fouls. Should some of them have been allowed to play through? Yes, 100%. Zach Edey is a beneficiary of the whistle. There's no way
yeah.
to deny it.
There
But that should
were
not
there
discredit
were a
how good he
couple.
is.
Yeah, there were a couple loose ball fouls that were called that I thought was weak, and they should have just just swallow the whistle.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, he's just good.
He is good. I mean, you can't deny 16 rebounds, 40 points. You
You
just can't.
don't you don't fall ass backwards into being back to back National Player of the Year if you're not good.
Yep. And
This
credit
isn't
to him
just
too.
well, he's only good because he's 7'4". Like, no, he's just a good basketball player.
Yeah, and credit to him. I mean, for real, like starting off, he was, I want to say like the 68th ranked recruit in the country that
Yeah,
whatever year it was.
he
So
was
so he
a
has worked hard to develop his game.
That's what, okay, yeah, that's what I was telling people yesterday when we were watching the game. I was like, look, like he played baseball and hockey growing up. And then once he got too tall for baseball to where
Yep.
his strike zone was just humongous. He plays in Canada, learning basketball, transfers to IMG. He played on IMG's like JV team because he was still so green with the sport. He worked with a basketball coach, like a trainer on the side to learn basketball. And then yeah, I think he chose Purdue over Baylor and St. Mary's. That was it.
Yep. And
And then
he called
yeah,
out
he's
Rick
earned it.
Barnes.
Yeah, I mean he earned it to be where he is today. Like he truly worked his ass off to become back to back National Player of the Year. It's a pretty wild story. That's another thing where like he's going to get all the hate because of the foul calls and whatever. But dude's earned it. Like, he's a hell of a story. I mean, a really good interview too. Like, everybody I know in the industry that gets a chance to interview him and talk with him says that he's great. He's a good quote. Like, he's super chill, laid back dude. But yeah, I mean, and I don't want this to also take away from it just being a hell of a game.
Yep,
Like,
100%.
it was a really good high level basketball.
Yeah, and you're right. Tennessee just needed someone else to score. But it'll be fun. I mean, Edie now for the first time, really all season, if not in his entire career, regardless of what happens, if Purdue does advance to the final, presumably playing UConn, he's got two of the best bigs in the league. Um, coming up where he's going to have to face DJ Burns, and then
Yeah.
he's going to have to turn right around and then play Klingon. And I was looking back just now, pretty funny looking back. Ole Miss did beat NC State by 20 on November 28th.
Yeah.
DJ Burns had 5 points and 4 rebounds in 27 minutes. How is that possible when all season Ole Miss fans were remarkably frustrated with Jamarian Sharp and the Big's abilities to like play in the paint, and Cisse wasn't on the floor. He wasn't even on the team at the time. Like, I don't think he was eligible
Yeah.
at that point. And DJ Burns had 4 rebounds, 5 points. So now does this mean that Ole Miss is transitive property Final Four team? Absolutely, it does.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group. He can help you with any of your health insurance needs. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, regular health plans, to life insurance, to dental and vision, and even Medicare. He has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449. 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today.
Also, speaking of transitive property, could you imagine this Tennessee team with DJ Burns on it?
Yeah, seriously.
Because way back when, he redshirted on the Tennessee Vols. So
he was the missing link. I mean, he really that would have been such a big difference.
I mean,
He's
just
so fun.
just a fun game, and look, the stars lived up to the hype, man. I mean, just those two battling back and forth. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see, they've been calling it the redemption tour for Purdue after losing to Fairleigh Dickinson last year, 116. They're gonna, if this is the true redemption tour to win it all, they will earn it to beat this red hot NC State team and then beat probably one of the best college basketball teams in recent history in UConn. So
Yeah.
good on Painter, good on the Boilermakers for making everybody, at long last. Myself, I know my wife tripled down on them to get to the Final Four and win it all. The last couple of years they've been burning people's brackets up, falling flat on their face. But yeah, good for Purdue to finally get to the Final Four. First time since 1980.
Wow. Yeah. And
Pretty incredible.
speaking of brackets and picking Purdue, Jim Boeheim had UConn, NC State, Purdue, and UNC. So he didn't know enough about Alabama, I guess. But I mean, still North Carolina only lost by 2 to the Crimson Tide. But my goodness, shout out to Jim Boeheim. I mean, like him, love him, hate him, whatever your opinion is on him, to get NC State in the Final Four. What did he know that everybody else didn't? And apparently it was DJ Burns.
Man, what a story. So
Really
cool.
is. Yeah,
Really
it's
fun.
pretty fun.
All right. Last thing here, before we get into that, I do want to remind you, USA Benefits Group, another proud sponsor of the show. If you don't know by now, hit up Drew Moak and USA Benefits Group. You can really benefit. Free quote, usabg.com/DMOAK. You can call him at 601-953-8449. You can cut those premiums 20 to 30%. He's an Ole Miss grad. He's located in Mississippi, but he's also licensed in 7 states, access to 35 different carriers. So he can pretty much help you with whatever you need: health insurance, dental, vision, Medicare, Medicaid, all of that. Drew Moak, USA Benefits Group, 601-953-8449, or check them out, usabg.com/DMOAK to get your free quote. All right. Kind of a last little quick segment before we head out. Ole Miss snagged a commitment from AK Dear over the weekend. It was one that I was keeping it warm in the hopper. I had the pre-write already done. I know that Ole Miss felt really good after the junior day visit in February. He goes ahead, decides to make it official. Huge pickup for Ole Miss. I was telling people that were asking on our message board, which if you're not a member already, join. It's only $1. Get involved, as our buddy Neil Schuster would say. Get activated. Join the conversation at omespirit.com. People were asking me, how good is AK Dear? I've heard people in the industry say they think he's the best back in the country. Our very own Charles Power, director of scouting and rankings, loves his game. Not literally, but figuratively, Charles was drooling as AK Dear was warming up and getting loose and running through drills and stuff at the Under Armour Next camp in Atlanta. Truly loves his game. Our boy Cody Belair, same thing. They think he's the real deal, just RB-1 type guy. 6 foot, 200, every bit of it too. Seeing him in person, he's probably north of 200 now. He's really gotten in the weight room and dedicated himself to being that big body feature back. But number 34 player in the country overall, number 2 running back, number 2 player in Mississippi behind 5-star Caleb Cunningham. He's the real deal. A couple coaches around the state of Mississippi have told me they think he's better than Cam Akers, which big time chatter there. But from what you've seen on tape and just your amateur scouting viewpoint, what do you think about the pickup there?
I appreciate how he's so balanced. And what I mean by that is that he is neither a speedster nor a power back. He is that true, like you said, that true RB-1, where he has the big body, he has the big frame, and he may not look super fast out of the gates, but if you get him in the open field, he's gone. And I mean, how can you discredit someone who ran for 2,016 yards and 27 touchdowns as a junior in high school? Like that's ridiculous numbers that you're not seeing from many running backs on any level, let alone, the top guys. And the last few recruiting classes, I went back and looked, only a few of them have eclipsed that 2,000-yard mark. So for Dear to be doing that in a state that is as talented as Mississippi and that has the athletes, he's a really great pickup. And it's exciting for the future because you're looking at a situation this year where you've got Ulysses Bentley coming back, you've got Reese Cayano, you've probably adding somebody else through the portal, whomever they may be, they're targeting another running back. You've got Logan Diggs. So then when you look ahead to the future, you've got now a fully healthy Diggs next year. So this fall we'll see, how much they use Diggs and have to use Diggs coming off of the injury. But then you look ahead to the year after that, you've got Logan Diggs, Reese Cayano, who the staff was very excited about when he came in, continues to be excited about today, and was like part of the reason that they were so comfortable allowing Judkins to walk is because of Reese Cayano. And then you're adding AK Dear, who, like you said, probably the top back in this class. That's a really loaded running back room for the future. So it's nice to have that kind of shirt up and in your pocket. And I mean, not to count the chickens before they hatch, because in the current era of college football, commitments don't really mean anything until that pen is on the paper and it's an official signature.
Sure.
But it does not seem like Deer's going anywhere. You know, there's no one that's Alabama might continue to pursue him. You know, Florida and A&M were also in the mix, I believe. Uh,
Yeah.
they might keep their foot on the gas there, but it doesn't seem like Deer has any desire to go to any of those programs. He's locked in, and you're confident that, okay, now you have the back of the future. So you can say, all right, hey, look at other recruits, you know, when you're talking to other recruits, we have this running back. Offensive line, come block for the best back in the country. Receivers, this best back in the country is going to open up the field for you to catch the ball. Quarterbacks, how nice is it to have someone like AK Deer by your side? All of those things are really positive, in addition to the fact that he's just a sick athlete and really good in pass pro too. That's something that I appreciate about a running back. He can pass block, and he's important. That'll be important because, you know, he is going to be that RB-1. He will be on all four downs. He's not
Mhm.
just a passing back. He's not just a first down back. You know, he's an all four down guy. So to have all of those intangibles for recruiting and for the future, on top of the fact that you're getting a remarkable athlete, arguably like the biggest get for Ole Miss in the traditional recruiting, high school recruiting space since
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin took over. I mean, maybe Aiden Williams, but Deer is probably the one, if not two or three, biggest high school gets of Lane Kiffin's tenure in Oxford. So, if that says anything,
Yeah, premium position. I think per the rankings, I'd have to go back and double check. Pretty sure he the highest rated high school prospect that Lane Kiffin has landed. And I talked about it on the message board. You can read my full statement or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, the attention to high school recruiting that Lane Kiffin has, it's shifted in the last couple cycles. I know that, everybody, whether tongue in cheek or whatever, oh, well, Lane's just always out fishing. He doesn't care about recruiting. Like, no, parents are saying the same. Prospects are saying the same. He's more involved than ever now, and it's showing. This is a very, very, very loud verbal commitment. I think is going to stick,
it
and I
seems
mean
that way.
this is a commitment that you can build around. This is a commitment where AK Deer is going to start talking to Caleb Cunningham. He's going to start talking to Andrew Maddox and Deuce Knight and the others. Like, hey, dude, like, I mean, he said it when he talked with our very own Chad Simmons. It's like, I'm from Mississippi. Like, why would I leave? So big get. You can read all about AK Deer at omspirit.com. Hoping to talk to him later today, as his weekend was pretty busy, and then also, a holiday weekend. So planning on catching up with him today to break the commitment down, talk about, why Ole Miss, why now, and a little bit more. So that'll do it for this Tuesday edition of the Flagship. We appreciate y'all tuning in as always, and shout out to Grayson for being flexible, moving things around for us. We'll have more coverage of football recruiting, as I think Ole Miss is about to really kick it into high gear heading into spring and summer. We'll have more transfer portal coverage for you for basketball, as Chris Beard and company are really trying to revamp and rebuild this roster. All of that, baseball, softball, we got it all at omspirit.com. But until next time, appreciate y'all. Appreciate College Corner. Appreciate USA Benefits Group and Drew Moak. And I appreciate my guy Grayson for being flexible. Y'all enjoy the Final Four this weekend, and we'll talk with Grayson next week. So until then, we out.